The novel, The Illegal, by Canadian novelist Lawrence Hill, is a compelling story that examines the plight of refugees who risk everything to start over in a country that doesn't want them. The Illegal begins in the fictional mountainous island country Zantoroland, described as a speck in the Indian Ocean, with Africa to its west and Australia to its east. 1,500 kilometers north of Zantoroland is the ironically named Freedom State, who had enslaved Zantorolanders for 2 centuries, and ever since slavery was abolished, Zantorolanders have been outlawed. Even so, they braved the open sea between the 2 countries in attempts to re-enter Freedom State, now one of the world's richest nations. The main protagonist of The Illegal is Kaita Ali, and like every boy in Zantoroland, running is all he ever wanted to do. Kaita's older sister Charity is an extremely intelligent young woman with a 99% average in school and a fully paid scholarship to the Ivy League school Harvard University. Their father, Yo-Yo Ali, is a world-renowned journalist for the New York Times, known for his controversial writings, and their mother Lena is a compassionate woman who holds the voice of reason within the family. Kaita's father and mother are depicted as foils in The Illegal. While Yo-Yo pours his dreams and emotions into his writings, he never acts on them. His mother, Lena, is down to earth and works herself down to the bone to provide what is really needed for herself and her family. As a dreamer, Yo-Yo Ali resembles Romeo from William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Romeo is the dreamer of the play who stands as a foil to Mercutio, who is a realist like Kaita's mother. Before attending the Capulet party, Mercutio says in a conversation with Romeo,
"True. I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begat of nothing but vain fantasy."
This demonstrates that Mercutio is easily a realist, as he doesn't believe in dreams, fate, or superstition, but rather relies on facts and reality, contrary to Romeo, who often mentions his fate.
I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence yet hanging in the stars.
The first key event of The Illegal happens during the beginning of the novel when Kaita's family comes under threat because of a change of government. The government has changed from being run by the Fallow ethnic group to the Kano ethnic group, resulting in the torture and execution of dissidents and members of the Fallow ethnic minority. Kaita's father is a dissident who includes his outspoken political views in his writings as an international journalist, and Kaita's mother is a member of the Fallow ethnic group. This leads to the murder of both Kaita's parents by members of the cruel government. Because of this, Kaita discovers that he must run for the survival of what remains of his family, himself and his sister. So, he signs with the notorious marathon agent Anton Ham, but after failing to place amongst the top finishers in his first race, he escapes to Freedom State. This provides the second key event of the novel. In Freedom State, Kaita lives day and night trying to stay safe in a country bent on the deportation of refugees living within its border, while also avoiding Anton Ham. In order to do this, Kaita must keep moving, so he does what he does best. He registers for races under the alias of Roger Bannister and uses his prize money to survive. Sooner than later, he is informed that his sister is being held captive by the Zantoroland government, and Kaita must make a payment of a large sum of money in order to save her life. Now, Kaita is not only running for his own survival, but for his sister's life too. Running is the perfect central image for The Illegal, as it works in both the literal and a metaphorical sense. In Freedom State, running is a way with which one can garner privilege and power, yet as an illegal as well as a runner, Kaita is subject to freedom or imprisonment, to glory or to banishment. He runs to live, whether that be in the sense that he is using his race winnings to buy food and other necessities, or that he is running from deportation. He races to keep undercover, so by racing he is also evading authorities. When he first arrives in Freedom State, a man in a bar approaches Kaita and informs him that, since the government got elected, they've been deporting people as fast as they can. "I don't know what you're running from, brother, but be careful of what you're running to." Being an illegal strips him entirely of his identity. The message surrounding this clearly shows that while a white person can get away with a crime, a person of color's very existence is punishable by the government. An object that continues to appear throughout The Illegal is shoes and feet. Kaita is always observant of people's feet and how their shoes hit the pavement as they are running, whether their shoes are slapping the ground or if they are moving swiftly on top of it. After a race where Kaita places second, which did not provide any prize money. The first place winner of the women's category slips her winnings of an $800 gift certificate into Keita's bag. With this money, Keita buys 4 pairs of shoes and 12 pairs of socks. As the novel is a story surrounding running, shoes and feet find their way into the story on many occasions. An image that appears in the novel is the image of authority and its relation to danger and violence. This is apparent when Keita meets a woman, Candace, who avoids telling him that she is a police officer out of fear that he will be fearful of her. And right she was, because after spending the night together, Keita finds her badge, after which he promptly leaves without a goodbye. Since Candace is associated with an authoritative position that could be of harm to Keita because of his illegal status, he sensed the possible danger and fled the situation entirely. A theme that appears in the novel is the theme of displacement as a cause of segregation. This is seen in Keita, who has nowhere to go in his home country Zantoroland because of the threat of being killed, nor in Freedom State, where he resides for the majority of the novel, because he resides there illegally. He doesn't have a passport nor a national citizenship card, which are necessary to be in the country. If Keita is caught, he will be deported back to Zantoroland, where he will surely be killed, as it is illegal to leave without government permission. Freedom State not only deports illegal immigrants, but they refuse refugees as they want to keep their image of a grand, wealthy country. There is no way for a person to come into their country without being a rich immigrant capable of affording the citizenship, as well as being able to pass the government-approved test, which often refuses anyone but white people. A second theme of oppression as the root of enduring conflict is evident in the novel. This is apparent in the Buttersby Marathon when a fellow racer of Keita's, Billy Deeds, yells racial slurs at him throughout it. The only reason Billy is making these comments towards Keita is because he is a white man and Keita is a black man, which gives him the privilege in his mind to make such comments. This is an obvious example of racial discrimination and the problems it causes between the characters exuding and the characters receiving this discriminatory behavior. A very prominent tension that appears in The Illegal is racism versus reason. This is present throughout the novel's societies and communities and their views towards illegal immigrants, and how their definition of illegals is only based on the color of one's skin. A particular incident happens when Keita goes to stay with a woman, Ivernia Beach, a rich old lady who is quite the philanthropist, whom he had met earlier that day at the library. As he approaches her house, a neighbor of hers yells out to Keita, "You, sir, over there, by the door, black man, what is your business here?" and proceeds to retrieve a canister labeled bear spray. This demonstrates the ingrained racism in the minds of characters and how only few are open-minded enough to accept people for who they are rather than how they look. This tension is also very prominent in the novel To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, in society's view of black people compared to the very few who are able to overlook the color of one's skin and see people for who they are aside from their race, such as members of the Finch family. When Scout is asking Atticus about defending a black person, he responds by saying,
The main one is that if I didn't, I couldn't hold my head up in town. I couldn't even tell you or Jim not to do something again.
The tension of individual versus society is also present in The Illegal. There is the small group of illegals who face all of society in their everyday lives. In experiences like Keita's, illegal immigrants and people of color are discriminated against because of their status and their appearance. So they are left to fend for themselves against the cruel country in which they reside. This tension appears in William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet as well. Romeo and Juliet feels like it's them against all of Verona. They are star-crossed lovers who long to be together, but this is impossible because of family infringements that stop them from doing so. With families that are unaccepting of their love choices, they have only their love on their side. This is depicted as early as the prologue.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life.
This fictional modern-day novel tells a story that is as realistic as can be. It touches on all aspects of inequity in the world without directly addressing real-life events. The obstacles faced are as real as the stories told on the front pages of the newspapers covering the refugee crisis, with them looking for safety in the Western world that is reluctant in welcoming them in.